This week is Shabbat Parshat Vaetchanan, also known as Shabbat Nachamu, the Shabbat of consolation, which comes after Tisha B'Av and the 3 weeks of mourning, and is really the beginning of the approach to Rosh Hashanah and to Yom Kippur, to a new year, where we look forward to a time of consolation. And the Parsha begins with Moshe reminding the Jewish people that after he had struck the rock, and Hashem had decreed that he would not come into the land of Israel, he said, Vaetchanan el Hashem ba'etahi lemor. And I pleaded, I supplicated before Hashem at that time. And the sages point out that there are many different words for prayer. Vaetchanan, Rashi says there are 10 different words for prayer, but he used this one. And the sages tell us that the numerical value of the word Vaetchanan is 550. And that's how many times Moshe prayed to Hashem that Hashem should rescind the decree against him and that he should be allowed to come into the land of Israel. And he kept on praying over and over and over and over again, many, many times, every day, for many days, for many months, until Hashem said to him, I don't want to hear anything further about it. Stop mentioning it. But Moshe was not prepared to give up. He wanted to come into the land of Israel, not because he wanted to see the beautiful scenery, but because this was a place where one could fully live one's life as a Jewish person, where all of the mitzvot of the Torah can be fulfilled. And there's a connection between this and between Tisha B'Av, that we've just gone through, Tisha B'Av. On Tisha B'Av, we read Megillat Eicha, the Book of Lamentations. And this is usually read from a printed book. But the Levush, one of the great halachic authorities of the previous few hundred years, he says he was always bothered by the fact that for Tisha B'Av, we didn't have the Megillah of Eicha written out on a scroll. He said we say a brocha on it, or this is not personally our custom, but that was their custom. They would say a blessing on it, and they would read it in public, like the Megillah for Purim. So why wasn't it written on a scroll? Why don't we do that? And he gives an incredible answer. He says, the reason why it's not written on a scroll and not available is because the Sofrim, the scribes, just didn't want to write it. They didn't want to write down the book of Eicha. Because had they written down the book of Eicha, it would almost be showing that they had given up hope that there would be a salvation. They're saying, there's going to be another Tisha B'Av this year. No, they didn't want to write it. As if to say, there's not going to be another Tisha B'Av this year. Mashiach is going to come. He's going to redeem us. He's going to take us all to Israel. And there will be no Tisha B'Av. They didn't want to give an indication. They didn't want to give the impression that they had given up hope of salvation. The same way in which Moshe prayed and prayed and prayed for salvation and didn't want to give up hope. This is the power of the Jewish people. For thousands of years we've been in exile. And it's been a very dark and a very long exile. But we never gave up. We never gave up the chance of Yeshua, of redemption. Even in the darkest depths of hell, in Auschwitz, in Treblinka, there were Jews who sang, Ani ma'amin be'emunah shlema, I believe with a complete faith in the coming of the Mashiach, that there will be a redemption. May it be speedily in our days. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.